In September 1666, a city of 400,000 people, the largest in the English-speaking world, was about to burn to the ground. Not in a war, not from an enemy attack. It started with a spark in a bakery on a street most people had never heard of. Within 3 days, 13,000 homes were gone. 87 churches, the great cathedral at the center of the city, all of it ash. What you're seeing right now is London, rebuilt. Using advanced AI techniques, we've taken 17th century engravings, eyewitness sketches, and faded historical records, and transformed them into the city as it actually looked. The smells, the noise, the impossible density of timber and thatch packed into streets so narrow you could shake hands with your neighbor through an upstairs window. This is the Great Fire of London, told hour by hour. And by the end of this video, you'll understand not just what burned, but what was lost, who failed, who stepped up, and why, 3.5 centuries later, this story still matters.
To understand the fire, you first need to understand the city. London in 1666 is cramped in a way that is genuinely hard to picture today. The streets inside the old Roman walls are a maze of alleys, courtyards, and passages, many of them less than 2 meters wide. The buildings are almost entirely timber-framed, their upper floors jutting out over the street until the rooftops nearly touch above your head. Sunlight barely reaches the ground. The city has been warned. For decades, authorities have tried to enforce building codes, tried to widen streets, tried to replace wood with brick. Nobody wants to pay for it. The landlords resist, the tenants have no power. And so London stays exactly as it is. Beautiful, chaotic, and in hindsight, catastrophically dangerous. The summer of 1666 has been one of the driest on record. Weeks without rain. The timber beams, the roof thatch, the wooden shop fronts, all of it bone dry. And on top of that, England is in the middle of both a war with the Dutch and a slow recovery from the Great Plague, which had killed roughly 100,000 Londoners the previous year. The city is exhausted, overcrowded, and stretched thin. It is, by every measure, a place waiting for something to go wrong.
It's just after 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, the 2nd of September, 1666. Most of London is asleep. On a short, unremarkable street called Pudding Lane, a name that comes from the offal and scraps carried from the nearby butcher's market, a baker named Thomas Farrinar has finished his night's work and gone to bed. His ovens are supposed to be out. They are not. Exactly what happens next is disputed even now. Farrinar would later insist the fire wasn't his fault. Most historians are skeptical. What we know is this. By 1 in the morning, his bakery is ablaze. He wakes to smoke filling the house, grabs his family, and they escape across the rooftops. One maidservant, too frightened to follow, stays behind. She is the first recorded victim of the Great Fire of London. The fire spreads to the house next door, then the next. In these streets, this is almost mechanical. The buildings are so close and so dry that fire moves between them almost without needing to try.
By the time the city watch is alerted, and someone thinks to wake the Lord Mayor, a man named Sir Thomas Bloodworth, the fire has already jumped several buildings. Bloodworth arrives, looks at what is burning, and delivers what is probably the most catastrophically wrong assessment in the history of London. Pish, he reportedly says. A woman might piss it out. He goes back to bed. And in doing so, he throws away the only window London has to stop what's coming. The critical tool for fighting urban fires in this era isn't water, it's demolition. You create a fire break by pulling down buildings ahead of the flames, removing the fuel before the fire can reach it. It works, but it requires authority and decisiveness. It also means destroying people's homes and businesses. Bloodworth has the authority. He won't use it without being paid for the demolished buildings first. Nobody has that kind of money on a Sunday morning, so nothing happens. The fire, meanwhile, is being fed by a strong and persistent easterly wind. It does not slow down.
Samuel Pepys, a naval administrator and compulsive diarist whose account is one of our best records of the fire, wakes around 3 in the morning when his household is disturbed by the glow on the horizon. He watches for a while from his window, decides it's far enough away, and goes back to sleep. By 7, he's up again, and the view has changed completely. He walks toward the fire. He sees people throwing their furniture into the street. He sees pigeons, apparently reluctant to leave the burning eaves of churches, hovering until their wings catch. He sees a woman carrying a cat. He sees the Thames filling with boats, with carts, with every vessel that can float, loaded with whatever people managed to grab before they ran. Pepys himself buries his wine and his Parmesan cheese in the garden. His priorities are his own. He goes to find the king. Charles II, along with his brother James, Duke of York, comes to see the fire for himself and immediately grasps the scale of the problem that Bloodworth refused to face. He orders the demolitions to begin. The problem is that by now, with the fire moving as fast as it is, the fire breaks are struggling to stay ahead of the flames.
Monday is when the fire peaks. The wind is still blowing hard from the east. Entire streets are going up at once.
The fire is now moving faster than men can demolish ahead of it. Gunpowder is brought in to blow up whole rows of buildings, a more drastic solution, loud enough to alarm people who don't understand what's happening, leading to panicked rumors that the Dutch or the French have started bombing the city.
England is at war, remember? With the Dutch. The paranoia is immediate and dangerous. In the streets, foreign-sounding voices are enough to get a man beaten. A French watchmaker named Robert Hubert later confesses to starting the fire deliberately, a confession that is almost certainly false, given that the timeline doesn't work and he may have been mentally ill. He is hanged regardless. The city needs someone to blame. Meanwhile, St. Paul's Cathedral, the great medieval landmark at the heart of the city, catches fire. The scaffolding around it from ongoing repairs acts as a ladder for the flames. The lead roof melts and runs into the streets in rivers. The booksellers, who had stored their stock in the cathedral's crypt, thinking the thick stone walls would protect it, lose everything. Eyewitnesses describe the heat splitting stones and sending them flying like artillery. The cathedral burns for days.
By Tuesday, the fire breaks are finally starting to work. The King and the Duke of York are directly supervising the demolition teams. There are accounts of Charles handing out coins to the men working the pumps, covered in ash himself. Whether this is good leadership or good politics is probably both. The fire reaches the western edge of the city and meets a wide gap created by earlier demolitions near Temple Bar. It stalls. To the north, the fire has largely burned itself out against the more recently built, slightly less flammable streets beyond the old walls. On Wednesday, September 5th, the wind which has driven all of this finally drops. The remaining fires are contained and extinguished. After 4 days, it's over. The scale of the destruction is almost beyond accounting. 373 acres inside the city walls are completely gone. 87 parish churches, 44 of the livery company halls, the Royal Exchange, the Customs House, Newgate Prison, over 13,000 houses, around 100,000 people, a fifth of the city's population, are homeless, gathering in refugee camps on the open fields of Moorfields and Islington, sleeping under canvas in early September, with nothing left. The official death toll is recorded as just 6. Almost certainly that's wrong. The deaths of poor Londoners, of those without names in the records, of the city's servants and laborers, were rarely documented. The true number will never be known. What came next was, eventually, a better city. Christopher Wren designed a new St. Paul's and rebuilt 51 churches. New building codes mandated brick and stone over timber. Streets were widened. But the grand urban plan Wren drew up, a rational, wide boulevarded city, was rejected because it would have meant seizing private land. London was rebuilt largely along the same old medieval street patterns, just made of better material. Some things change slowly. The monument to the Great Fire still stands near Pudding Lane. It's exactly 202 feet tall. If you laid it on its side, its tip would point directly to the spot where the fire started. It was built that way deliberately, a permanent record of exactly where it all began.
The Great Fire of London was a catastrophe caused by a combination of bad luck, worse planning, and one man's disastrous decision to go back to bed. It destroyed a city and displaced 100,000 people overnight. But it also, slowly, imperfectly, over decades, produced something more durable in its place.
If you found this video interesting, please give it a like. It really does help the channel grow, and it helps us keep making these reconstructions. Subscribe if you want to see more. We have more cities, more disasters, and more forgotten stories coming soon. And if there's a historical moment you want to see reconstructed, drop it in the comments. We read everything.